I'm married. I have, as an event MC.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm married. I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl. So that's a bit about me.
Okay. So growing up, what were your aspirations? You know how
So
most of
yeah,
us when some will say I want to be a doctor, some will say a lawyer, all those things. Did you
yeah.
see yourself where you are now?
Yeah, growing up, I had wanted to be a lawyer. I just admired the law profession. I was grew up saying, I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to be a lawyer. But then when I got to SSS, it's the law thing started taking a different turn. I started becoming more interested in issues of international relations and international politics. And so I decided to study government as one of my electives. I studied literature. I started working towards that path. So when I got to uni, yes, I did sociology, which has a lot to do with that, with the English language. And that's why for my postgraduate studies, I went to international relations. And then I specialized in international conflict resolution because I wanted to work within the international peacekeeping space or international development space. And so when I was coming back home, I was applying for jobs in the UN, in the UNDP, in the West Africa Network for Peace Building. Those were the things I was doing. But it was tough. You know, before you come back, a lot of people will tell you, oh, I'll help you and this. But when I came back, I did a lot of legwork. I did a lot of applications on about. It was not coming from the way I wanted. So that's why I thought that, I should probably just expand my scope. And so when I got the opportunity to work in the education space, I said, well, it's good. It was academic administration, but I was happy when I had to start teaching as well. Then I started teaching communication skills, English language. So I started using my training in English, and then later when I started teaching at the university level in HR, I was teaching organizational conflict management and resolution. I found the space where I started using my international conflict resolution skills and putting it to play. So I speak with people on how within the workplace we can cohabitate, how we can understand issues of divergent natures and, how to manage those things. So in a way, yes, I found use for it, but not in the exact sense that I initially thought.
Okay. I sort of can relate with what you said about you before coming back. I mean, people promised you and it looked like when you come back, you're going to use your skills full force, only to come back and realize that it's not like it. I had a similar experience, so I can really relate to that. Great. So your work in Thieves, can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, so I have a very interesting career. Let me take you back. So when I came back, very buoyant, having done a 2 years research masters, came back very confident that the jobs were available. I remember I had to settle for a job at the time that was paying me 500 cedis. It was not something that a typical person with such a qualification will settle for, especially when you are coming from a top, institution abroad.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I tell people is that, you can have all these grand things, but you have to build capacity. You have to build capabilities. You have to build experience. You have to build competencies. And I told myself at the point, no, I have to settle for it. So when I joined Data Link University, they decided to post me to go at that time. They had a pre-university campus in one. They said, even though I'm assistant registrar, I should go and manage the campus. And in managing the campus, I had to teach. So I taught English, I taught business communication, I taught communication skills. I was teaching, they were largely people who had written from the SHS and they had failed. And then, so it was a difficult task because it's like, excuse me to say, it's like, average and below average, and you have to prepare them to go and do better. So I was preparing them for WIAC level exams. And for the very first time in the school's history, we got, in all my subjects, there were 90-something+% of passes.
Oh, wow.
So I was fulfilled. And the school, before I came, they were like, oh, you just came from abroad, you don't have experience, blah, blah, blah. But from there, they were very excited. I started telling fortunes of the school around, management, things were going on. I'm a grounds person as well. I like to see things moving up and down. I brought a lot of innovation, and I'm a people's person. So I was very free with the students, and people were happy, people were recommending. So the school was growing, and the owner was very happy. So that's why I said, no, I need your capabilities more at the head campus. So I had to move to Tema. Now, when I came to Tema, at this time, I had already made them see my value. So the institution was not paying its staff well at the time. I told you how I came in. But I had a personal thing to leverage on, because now they see the value. And I was personally able to negotiate. That's why I was able to become a senior assistant registrar within 1.5 years. When people who had been assistant registrars for many years did not have the point, they didn't understand, and people were bitter. I came in, I became senior assistant registrar in charge of student services. And then later on, I moved to administration. I was handling student services and admissions at the point. So I overseeing everybody that will be admitted into the institution, from entrance, mature entrance exam, to all the academic processes. And because of my background in English and my flair for writing, I became the proofreader for the institution. So if they wanted to write about the institution in the dailies and all of those things, and as a private institution, they faced a lot of issues with accreditation, re-accreditation, and all of that. Yeah. And I had to be the media person when journalists were calling.
Hey, wow.
So it was a lot of stress. I started aging fast from there. But I decided that I had to move on after 4 years, because I realized that I've gathered experience, number one. But being a one-man family business thing, there were a lot of internal politics that I didn't find healthy. So I had to move. Then I started searching. And then one day I found my current job. The job had expired the day I found it. And I still decided that I'll put in an application. So I put in my application, and after a week, I got an email that I should come. I went. The job was for the position of an admissions manager. So it was an international institution. So I realized I was going to grow. So I came in. The interview came. They called me for another interview. They were going to call me, but I didn't hear anything. But then it took a while. In about 1 month's time, then I got a call from a foreign number from Shanghai. And then they said, oh, I should come back, So long and short of it, I came and they said, no, we had advertised for an admissions manager, but we've changed our mind. It's going to be an admissions coordinator. In fact, it was still a better place to be in terms of growth. So I said, don't worry, I'll take it. And I moved on. My people tried to convince me to stay, but I realized I had to grow. So I moved on. Then I got in and I realized that apparently the delay in the communication was as a result of the fact that some of the people had favored somebody else because she was a female, and they felt they wanted to, So he had to wait. The executive director had to come in and decided to meet the two of us. And after meeting the two of us, he came back and said, look, I think the guy is more capable. And that's how I came in. Just 3 months after joining the company, the institution announced a redundancy. And being new, you would understand that I'll be one of the first because no one knew me. I didn't know anybody, and people will be fighting to keep those they know in the institution. I did everything I could to stay. I went to them. I said, look, I know I'm in admissions, but I can actually go into marketing. I can sell. They are like, oh, no, it was a usual. So I started, applying because there was no time. Started applying. But I went about everything. And that's one of the things about attitude I taught people. I went about my job with all the alacrity that I could because I was still on pay. And at that time, the office was relocating to another premises. And I was the one in charge of all of this stuff. And I was always up and about it, making sure everything was on that. So later, the executive director called me and said, look, I realized that you are leaving, but the energy with which you are still working, I haven't seen it. A lot of people who are leaving have gone reclined. They are settled, they're more like depressed, and they're not really, but you still go about your duty as if, there's nothing happening. And we are also seeing signs of how you talk to customers. You are not a marketing person, you are an admission manager, but when we go for events, we see the way you interact with people, we see the way this thing, and some people have spoken positively about you. And I've also seen it myself. And there's this manager, alumni relations manager, who has an issue in the US with the spouse and the children, and he has to move back to America. And that position is vacant. I think you are the right person to handle it. Wow. And at that time, I was confused because I just got an offer from a UN-supported project.
Okay.
And they were going to pay me more than my people were paying me. And my people were going to pay me a severance package in addition to getting a new job. So I was confused, but I saw opportunity where I was, so I decided to stay. My wife wouldn't understand. You understand, right? Like, this is better pay and this. Okay. But then I spoke to her and I renegotiated with my people and I decided to stay. That was it. The people wrote to me offering me, they were paying me in dollars, and I wrote back to them and said, look, I wouldn't take it because you didn't agree on the exact amount I wanted. They came back and said, look, we'll renegotiate with you. But I had made up my mind to stay. And then I stayed, and I realized that all the other people I had written to when I thought I was leaving, many of them started calling me. So there was a lot. So I tell people that, look, online jobs work. What I've seen is that people don't know you when you write to them. So your CV must speak for you. That's your first impression anyway. A lot of people don't present good CVs. And so something must speak about your CV when I pick it for me to want to look at it a second time. A lot of people throw things about, they have a generic thing they throw about. You have to spec every application that goes out and make yourself the most suitable, because there are a lot of people, if they give you the opportunity, that is where you prove your worth. But if you don't get a call, you can't get the opportunity to prove your worth. So this is one of the things. So I stayed. And then I started doing things. I mean, Christ was in it. One of the things, like I prayed about it. So, and things started working. And from alumni relations manager, I became alumni and corporate relations manager within about 6 months of being there. And then the following year, I had to go to Harvard for a program, for executive program. And then I was there in the US, and then I got an email, and the email said, look, in addition to being the alumni and corporate relations manager, we are also appointing you the marketing and communications manager. And this is what you get for this. And it was huge because I am now handling a portfolio that 4 different managers were handling. We had a marketing manager, we had an executive education manager, we had an alumni relations manager, and there was a vacant position for communication that was there, nobody was doing. So now I'm handling, and since 2017 to now, I've single-handedly handled these 4 positions. So now, it's all about attitude, it's the energy. I've met a lot of obstacles in my way, because the thing is that when you occupy this sensitive position, a lot of opportunities come with it. And for me, one of the opportunities is traveling. The SIPS has alumni chapters in Ivory Coast, in French Africa, and in Ghana. So once we are doing alumni events, I have to travel. When we are doing alumni reunions in China, I have to be there. When so I'm always on the move. And also for the marketing team, because our program is continent-wide, I travel to a lot of countries to do recruitment. I travel to South Africa, I travel to Tunisia, I travel to Algeria, I travel to all manner of places, Kenya, Zambia, Cameroon, Nigeria, Ivory Coast. And there are a lot of, naturally, you cut enemies, because there are people who have been in the country, many years before you came. And when they see all these things, traveling to China today, you are going here, people get jealous. So I met a lot of obstacles. People thought, why is this small boy becoming so powerful? It's really not because you're becoming so powerful. It's just because people are not happy that, you appear to be. It's natural. What you do is just to do what has worked for me has been my work. my delivery has been important. Because even if when people stand against you, your work, your bosses see that your delivery is worthy. And that was what has kept me where I am today by the grace of God. So just briefly about, what I do at SIPS today and how it came to be.
This is really impressive, and I'm learning a lot from it. And one thing you said, attitude, the attitude towards your work. I think it's very important, especially when you find yourself in a place that the environment is not enabling. And especially for you, where you were told you had to go and you still had that exuberance and you're still working hard. That is really rare, and it's something to learn from. I'm really impressed by that. Yeah, that's really impressive. All right. So then, how did the emceeing come in? that's
Right.
that's a very how do I say it? A sharp contrast between you being academia and then going into working with the international organization.
Yeah. I mean, people ask me this a lot. A lot of people ask me because in my typical role as head of market, it's very senior corporate. So you are expected to be in the tie and office. But, as I said, I'm a people's person. I create rapport wherever I go. And I'm very expressive and extrovert. And I've emceed for friends at events, their weddings and all of those things. And I realized from feedback that there's a comment below. So I realized that I was always doing it, and people were coming and saying, "Wow, you are doing well. You are doing well. You are doing." And I do these things for free. And the system is not. You can't stick to one thing today. You have to be versatile. You have to try to multiple streams of income, simply put. And I realized that I have a flair. Now, it's not only product you can sell services. And after I said, I'm a brand because I go to places in Africa, because of my space on social media, I'm also into humanitarian work. So I'm known in a lot of sectors. And the name kept coming up, Africa. Oh, you are doing, can you MC my wedding? I said, look, I should monetize this thing. So I started to monetize it. But to start the process, I didn't jump straight to money. I realized that because I didn't think first of all about making money, I wasn't building content because we are in a social media age. I need content on Instagram. I need content on Facebook. I need content on the various social media platforms. Because a lot of people want to see your work. You may be good, but people want to see what you want. So I realized that I needed content. So I went further now to offer my services to friends. Oh, yeah, let me do it for you. Then I started taking videos. Then I started taking pictures, and I started building a portfolio. Then I created a page, and I started putting the words out. So now people can see what you can do, because in the past, I only do certain things, and I don't keep any record, and I'm gone.
Yeah. No visibility.
Exactly. And one of the things I realized is that the sort of people you do these things to also matter. There are some people that I do free stuff for. I do it for them, and I don't even think about taking pay because they can open other doors for me. So, for instance, there's this lady, Irene Asari. Irene is currently the HR director and the board member for BBC World. And she used to be the HR director for Talo Oil. And I did stuff for her. And I realized that she now started giving me referrals because people believed in her. And because it's a brand. So for Irene to speak to you and tell you that I have this person, the people don't even question your capabilities anymore. For somebody of this stature, to say that you can do it, it's enough testimony for what you can do. And that's how I started. So bit by bit, people start this thing and they start charging too high. You have to worm your way into the market. So you start a bit. Once again, you charge too high, you don't have too much to show for it, people will shy away from you. They're already established names, and people want to go to these established names. Even currently, sometimes you have to test, even if you have a standard pricing regime, you still have to measure the warmth and temper of the atmosphere. But when you are making, you charge it. So that's how it started. Now, for me, as head of marketing and communication for my organization, I'm in charge of hosting all my company's events as well. And we have regular events for alumni, seminars, conferences, and I'm hosting. And these are high caliber events.
Yeah.
So for instance, I've hosted professors from Harvard, I've hosted professors from INSEAD, from Yale, and these are top people. And I've hosted a lot of international forums, including national events, which have ministers of state, heads of institutions. So it gives me the additional platform to be practicing. So for somebody who doesn't have this opportunity to practice with this thing, you should offer your services for free sometimes.
Yeah.
When you offer it, you don't need to let people know that it's free. Some of the things I post on my social media, it's free, but nobody knows. Yeah. All people see is that, wow, people send me messages, wow, you are really making it. You are making more gigs. You are making money. It's between me and, my God, but once a while, the paid ones come in, and some of them pay really big. Okay. And it's better than nothing, because I go there and my task is to make people happy, is to make things flow as they are, and the event to be successful. And it's a lot of work, actually. Event MC is a lot of work. People see it and they think that, you are just coming to talk. So sometimes when you charge people, they are like, but you are just coming to talk. It's not, there's a lot, and maybe when we go on, it's a lot of work. When I finish events sometimes, and I sit, I feel the exhaustion because you are on your feet throughout, and especially somebody like me who is a very punctual person. I get to the event hours before the event, because it's better for me to get there and wait than to go at a time and get stuck somewhere in traffic or get a flat tire or something. So I'm a typical early bird. And that's one of the challenges when we come to some of the difficulties we face as an event, I would say in Ghana. People give you time and they are not on time. Yeah. So instead of me spending maybe 5 hours at an event, I end up spending like 10 hours. And it's really not the best.
It's a shame. It's a shame. So yes, you can go ahead and share with us what are some of the struggles, the challenges that you face. You mentioned a few.
Yeah, let me say first of all that event emceeing comes with a lot of opportunities. Today, I am a brand. There is, how will I put it? I can't think of anywhere that I go to today that somebody doesn't know me for a fact.
Okay.
Anytime I step into event, conference, there's always somebody who will come and say, Sam the MC, I follow you on Instagram. I do this and then. It's so fulfilling, and you are by virtue of that societal elevation, a lot of people come to you, a lot of people share things with you, a lot of people want to associate with you, and you are able to get validation of a sort, you are able to get endorsements of a sort, you are able to build some rich networks for yourself. So a lot of people tend to, for the work I do as marketing executive, I use the event emceeing as a platform to talk to people about the things I do in my organization. And I've got quite a number of clients from it. So I go to events, I get to talk to people, and once we are getting to know one another, they get to know that, this is actually the main thing you do. And some of these people are able to pay for some of the things we are doing here. So they end up, I should come and see what you do. Then they come and some of them are interested. So it's also a way of supporting my institution.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things I post on my page, people see it and they ask me, what is CIBS? And I get the opportunity to talk to them about my. So it's very fulfilling, right? It's also for me a way of actually remaining sane. Now, as I grow and as a lot of responsibilities come up, I realize that I need time to release some dopamines, to exhale, to get some positive energy. And when I go to events, especially parties, and I dance and I play music, people dance to music, and that euphoria and the dance, I forget a lot of things. I'm happy, and it helps me to receive such positive dopamine. So that's the other thing. Another thing is that it helps me to exercise. I'm a regular party MC. If it's supposed to be a party, when I get there, I'm really going to dance. So people sometimes tell me that I won't pay you again because you've enjoyed more than me. I get that a lot. That you have enjoyed. So when I post my video, people comment, you are enjoying more than the celebrant. They shouldn't pay you again because, So you pay me, I enjoy myself, and I get money in addition. So event emceeing is a good thing. You just need to, develop the flair for it. You can actually learn. You need to be a good public speaker. When I started, everybody starts learning a way. You have to read, you have to search online to see what others in the area are doing. You have to follow some other people. So of course, I watch. Of course, I think I know how to do something, but I have to see what the trends are. What are people doing? Is what I have in mind really what is in vogue? Otherwise, you'll not be in sync. So I did my homework and I went on it. To be very sincere, the stage fright thing came, even though I was a public speaker, but at the first instance, I felt that nervousness, but I had control of it.
Yeah.
And once you step up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you gain the confidence. So today, I step into events and I don't even prepare anything. I just jump into it. Yeah. That is why sometimes I'm sitting here and I get calls and I'm like, oh, there's this thing coming up. Please, we need that NC immediately. I'm on my way. I get there sometimes before I even draw the program for the event and I still execute because I have the experience. I know the way certain events churn out. So I already have the idea. So that's one of the things you also do. You help your clients to plan the event. A lot of them don't know. And those are some of the things. But it comes with a lot of challenges, as I've said. One of them is actually...
Before you go on. So what goes into a program? Let's say you've been called to MC a program.
Yeah.
You said, first of all, you go early. What else goes into the preparation, either prior to the program or during the program?
So number one, you need to know what sort of event it is. Because every event, has things that are unique to it. You cannot go and MC a funeral the way you MC a wedding.
No.
Okay. One of them is for mourning. Another is for celebration. Okay. So even what you wear to the event is of essence. If it is a funeral, is it for a young person? Is it for adults? Okay. It must determine sort of things you wear. Is it a local funeral? Is it some funerals are more like it's funeral by it's a classic kind of funeral. They have everything like how do you call this place around the Atomic funeral? These funeral homes.
Yeah, the actual.
Yes, you need to look. You cannot go to a local funeral in the heart of Bantama and put on black suits and black shirts, and even though that can be good for another type of funeral. So number one thing is that what kind of event are you going for? You need to understand. Is it an event for elderly people?
So you need to read a lot about it.
Not well, maybe sometimes reading can help, but you just need to understand the type of event and the sort of audience you are going to expect. For instance, if you are going for a birthday party I emceed a birthday party recently, and the guy was 30 years old. They are all millennials. They are young, hot-blooded. They are Kwame Eugene, Shatawale. You have to be ready for that environment. So the manner of things you go and do there is different from another MC, the birthday MC I did not too long ago, when the man was 70 years. Because it is his classmates. They are old and they want to dance to the likes of Emma Pesoko. They want to dance to AB Crenshaw. They want to dance. So you have to, as an MC, liaise with even the DJ and other event vendors. What sort of music is going to be played at the event? There are some MCs that are into jokes. I'm not the typical MC that goes to events with a pre-prepared joke. No, I do what I call situational humor. So I look at the circumstances surrounding the place and I create humor and people laugh. I don't plan it, but I'm very capable of picking moments and cracking jokes out of it. And it sells and goes, further because it resonates with what is happening at the moment.
It's tailored
Sometimes pre-prepared jokes, it can easily lose the steam.
Yeah.
So I'm not like that. When I started at first, I thought I need to prepare joke, I need to do this thing, but I found out with time that no, it's not necessary. You are supposed to be an MC, not a clown, or not how will I put it? You are not a slapstick performer. You are MC. Of course, you are supposed to create fun. You are supposed to create humor, but you are not a clown. And I see a lot of people, and they are forcing the jokes, and they want to appear funny, and they lose it. And when your jokes are not funny, you look stupid in front of the audience. And that can even affect your confidence. So besides knowing the event you are going for, I also mentioned that you need to know your audience. Okay, the way you MC to, let's say, a program that is heavily attended by diplomats, senior managers, CEOs of companies, is different from the way you MC an event that is being attended by, let's say, support staff.
Okay.
So you need to know so that, you can, carry yourself appropriately. You have to prepare somewhat. Even though I said that I still just get up and I jump into event. When I'm on my way, I think maybe at my level, I don't now sit down and start, but as I am going, I am thinking. Okay, I am thinking, and to do this thing, you need information. So you need to ask questions as the MC. Who is celebrating and how old is he? What sort of things does he like? What do you expect? Sometimes you may have, because you've done this thing, you have a template. Okay, but there are people that have specific things. There are some events I go to, and I know this is a logical thing, but the person who is going to pay you wants it in a particular way. You are not supposed to fold your arms and say, because you want it this way, I'm leaving it to have it your way. You are supposed to be a guide. But at least you need to make your knowledge known. Sometimes people don't know. It is only when you speak that they are saying, oh, okay, I didn't think about it this way. Oh, thanks for sharing. But if you don't, and the program flops, it is you they'll blame. A lot of things, it is not the MC's fault. Because one of the challenges I've seen is that when you go to MC events, especially when it has to do with family-oriented events, birthdays and all these things, there are too many bosses around the place. There's this big uncle who is the big uncle in the family, who comes and says, you have to start at this time. And there's an auntie who comes and says, oh, all these people, this person has not come and wait a little. And there's that one, and they are all coming to you. They don't talk to each other, they are all talking to you. So whilst one person says, start now, another person says, don't start. And the person who told you start now comes in 3 minutes and you have not started. Don't you know it's getting late? There are elderly people here, start, and he's mad. And another person is giving you instruction. Somebody comes and says, do this first, call this person and to do this. Another person comes and says, call it. So it's one of the difficulties we face as MCs. Too many people around, too many instructions. And I went for a recent event. There's this paramount chief from a certain area who was having his birthday. And all these sub-chiefs and elders were there. And they were all feeling very important. And they all felt that you have to listen to them. I'm speaking so frankly to you because, this, but it can be very annoying. But you have to compose yourself. You cannot demonstrate. Yeah, it's so easy to lose your temper sometimes.
I was just going to say that,
it's very easy to lose your temper. It's very easy to lose your temper. But hey, you have to, and there are some things that go wrong that is not your fault. For instance, you are asking me to start the program. Meanwhile, the person who is responsible for the food has not set up. And the program is in such a way that once you start, people have to start eating at a point. You cannot start a program and you don't even have, let's say, some starters on the table. And the starters are not in. The caterer is not in. There's no water on the table. These are common challenges. So other event vendors can actually frustrate you as the MC. Because at that moment, you are the one in the center. You are the one everybody is looking at. You know, so sometimes it is really good for you to connect before the event, to connect with other event vendors, you know, and to let them know the essence of time. So it's important, especially something like the DJ, you know, let him know, you know, he needs to cooperate a lot with you, the food vendors, all those people, so that because you are the one who's going to coordinate everything. You know, so those are some of the things. One of the challenges I have faced is also have to do with bookings. People book without committing.
Okay.
So there's somebody and a lot of families.
How do you mean without commitment?
I'll explain that. So people call you and they book. They're like, okay, I'm confirming you. I'm having my wedding on this day. You are the one. And you look my policy. You are supposed to pay this thing by this time to confirm.
Yeah.
And this person is you, Abigail. Very close friend, family. Okay. In instances like this, I even give you a very good discount because of the relationship.
Yeah.
But you need to lock me down somehow, you know.
Yeah.
But then, Sam, your thing, I'm sending it. It never comes. There's this guy that used to be, and he follows me so much on Instagram. Everything I post, he likes, comments. So we're fine. So he told me he was going to have his wedding. And I told him, okay. I gave him 50% discount because, you know, he was
okay.
And he was happy, then came fine. And then I told, can you do the booking? You like pay something to come. You are there's nothing that's going to change it. You are the one confirmed. Then I think 2 weeks to the event, he still hadn't confirmed. 1 week to the event. Then 1 week to the event, he still had. Then one Dr. Genevieve Duncan calls me and said, my father is having his birthday party. I want you to be the MC. The same day. Now, the guy's wedding is in the morning, but we all know that wedding receptions can run late.
Yeah.
And the man's birthday party was starting at 3 p.m. So I didn't want to take money here and here, and, you know, rush. I just wanted one. So now I said, look, I told the doctor that, look, someone has asked me to do this for me. Yeah. I need to confirm with the person. He says, you are the one going to do it. No problem at all. But I had to find a smart way, you know. Can you imagine that the evening to the wedding, that was when he called me and said, he's sorry, they're out of budget, and that his car had a problem, even blah, 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 blah. And that's it. No, the same person, if you are gone ahead and taking somebody's money, he will come and say, hey, the relationship that you have because of money, you know those things, Africa and those things. It's a big challenge for some of us.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big challenge for some of us. Some people, you trust them. There are some people, they say, come and do it, I'll give the money to you. And if you, Abigail, tell me that, I have no reason to mistrust you. Yeah. There's a friend of mine who lives in the UK who came like that. Don't worry. I went to do it after the event. I'm sending the money to you this evening. 1 month after, I think 2 weeks after that, he called me. You are bored with me, right? I know you are bored with me, you know. This and that, but by tomorrow evening, I'm sending you the thing. That was it. I didn't hear from him for 3 more weeks. The next thing he sent me a message is that I'm back to the UK. So I spoke to a common friend of ours and I said, then that common friend, he is currently aspiring to go to Parliament. So he is a common friend with all respect, and he's a member of his campaign team. Then immediately, that same day, I think just about 30 minutes after speaking to this friend, then he called me. You shouldn't have gone to speak to him. You shouldn't have gone to, you know, you had this challenge, that is when I said, but why did you just remain silent and not talk to him? Then that day, then he says, he's sending me some of the money. So, you know, there are a lot, and I think it's not only MCs, a lot of people, business people, events, planners, and they face such challenges. Yeah, so that's one of the common things we face. Yeah.
I guess we tend to take each other for granted.
It's
like
true.
You said, especially when we are close to each other. If it's a total stranger, we'll be more concerned, you know, about how they'll react to us not keeping to our word. It's rather unfortunate.
One of the other things I have picked from this Emceeing thing is that you shouldn't see it as a competition. Don't see other MCs as competitors. Okay. I'm very fine with a lot of them. There are a number of times, at least from my side, that I have gotten gigs that I couldn't go. Maybe because I'm traveling outside the country on my regular job, or maybe because I'm already engaged on something else. And what I do is that I bring in another person.
Okay.
But if that person were not free with me, you know, I wouldn't have done it. So there are a couple of people, and there are a couple of people in the DJs and other people that have given a lot of job. Battlers, people who sell drinks and all those things. I've had the opportunity of, yeah.
Yeah, so, that's really noble of
you. Build networks. Build networks. Yeah, build networks. It's very, very important.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. It's worth emulating. So, have I experienced the Emceeing, I should say, profession so far? Is this something someone can live off of, as in make full time?
It's a dangerous venture to take as full time. It's possible, but it's dangerous. And I have a friend who is doing Emceeing full time, Jerry Ajolo.
Okay.
And Jerry is making money there. He resigned his job at an insurance. He was my mate. He's a very good friend. And we even met last week at an event. He resigned from an insurance firm and went into Emceeing full time. But Jerry came into Emceeing when Emceeing was not really big.
Okay.
So he was one of the earliest people to come in.
Okay.
So he was able to connect at that level. You know, he went into politics too, so at the back door. So he started Emceeing for party events and things. So a lot of the government people knew him. So he was getting paid very well. So I think after some time, he saw that he could live off it. So he started. So somebody like Jerry is making it very well. I think that the safest thing is to keep it as a side hustle.
Okay.
It is only when you realize that you are making enough from it, then you can venture now and say, I want to make it full time. For me, as a side hustle, it pays. I've done quite a number of things from it, you know. Some of them have not paid as much as I want, but they put something on the table.
Yeah.
Okay. There were sometimes people have paid me things that I really didn't want, but I mean, I didn't make a loss either. The only fact is that I was exhausted. Either I stayed out late. Of course, you know, it's a bit expensive if you want to be a good MC because you have to look good. But I invest a lot in the things I wear. You know, so when I go, because the way you carry yourself is very important. You know, when you go out, people need to accord you some respect, and the way you look and present yourself is part of it. So sometimes even you have to look at the colors people are doing, and you have to match accordingly. So very regularly you have to update your wardrobe. It's expensive. Yeah. But I think for a start, you go in as a side hustle. So with time, when you start seeing the benefits coming, and you think that it is something you can live on full time, you can go in. For me, at a point, I may stop some of the MCs. I MC and moderate conferences and seminars. I MC parties. There are some people who just do conferences and stuff like that. There are some people who don't do party MCing. There are some people who are also party MCs. When it comes to the conference and things, I'm sorry to say, some people are not that, you know, to handle hardcore issues. You understand? So they prefer to do the dancing and joke. So it's their call. I'm gifted to manage between the two. So I'm able to do it. But a time will come as I age, I may leave some of them. Because at a certain age, I may not be able to be doing the, you know, sometimes in quote, fooling at some parties. You know, so I may now have to focus more on high level conference engagements, seminars, so I'm covering that niche. At a point, that may be it. And even at that point, even though you may be elderly, you can still do it. That's why the Kwame Sefa guys are old, but they can still do post seminars and conference and all those things.
Yeah.
But it may not look too good for him to be doing some things at a party. You get it?
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you have built yourself as that kind of a person.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people like that. There are some things I see some Emcees do I'll never do. For me, I think some of them are fooling. But that is actually what I see as fooling is actually what some class of people also, or particular people also want.
Yeah.
So that person too, that may be his or her niche. So you just need to find where you fit best and put yourself there. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I think I'll open the floor for questions now. Today we're a bit few, but I want to believe that some people have. Before then, let me read what is in the chat. So, person is Manuel. It says, Mr. Jabba, I must confess, not into a lengthy conversation though on this webinar, but you are an inspiration to many. Keep inspiring. And the same person says, wow, I'm really learning lots and loads of stuff today. I once had the option of cracking jokes, sorry, but saw it of no benefit since what you planned might not suit the situation of the program. Yeah, that's what he said. And he was laughing. I think one of the challenges you were mentioning, the part about going to a party and having many bosses, because it's really happened to me so many times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for Manuel. I think I know Manuel. Manuel, if I am right, he follows me on Instagram.
Okay.
Yes, I think so. I recognize the face very well. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, there are a lot of things about Emceeing that people take for granted. When people engage you, sometimes you are charging, they're like, just Emceeing. You see, you invest a lot in your party. You pay so much for what you are wearing. You pay so much money for food. You pay so much money for things. You pay the DJ. You pay the decor. If you don't have a good moderator for the event, and that event falls flat, all those other investments, in quotes, have been wasted. You may not go out being so happy and fulfilled. A good Emcee is what it takes, okay? A good Emcee is what it takes to engage people, to create the right atmosphere so that you get your money's worth. So Emceeing is a very, very valuable venture. And I think that people should accord it that dignity.
It's true.
A lot of things happen during events, and it takes a good Emcee to look. We go for events and things happen unexpectedly. Things happen unexpectedly. If there are any serious problem, but a good Emcee is the one who is able to cover.
Yeah.
And you will not know, you cannot envisage what will happen until it happens. And at that moment, you wish you had somebody who can manage the damage.
Yeah.
Yes, a good Emcee is what it takes to manage that damage. For even unfortunate moments to turn out to be moments that people can laugh about. And in the end, what happens? You create a very long-lasting memory about that. That is what matters.
Yeah. Interesting. I totally agree with what you said earlier, that most of us take Emceeing for granted, and especially when it comes to the fees that you charge. I remember when it started becoming the thing, and people were quoting their charges. People would go like, just for Emceeing, why should I do it?
It reminds me of someone who was going to buy a German Shepherd, or so they gave the person a high price. And the person said, oh, just woof, woof. Woof, woof, woof. Let me do it myself.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sylvia has raised her hand. Sylvia says she knew you from way back. Sylvia, please go on.
Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, OC100 was my name.
Oh, Adam. Oh, Charlie. Yeah. I didn't know you were on the call.
I see. I'm here. I'm here.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so wonderful seeing my mates and my good friend doing his thing, you know. I'm
Thank
his
you
fan
so
on
much.
Facebook too. Yeah. And I think way back in school, he's got all the skills, you know. Okay. He has the energy, the skills. I mean, the right attitude for what he's doing now. Okay. So I think when I saw him on Facebook and he was emceeing, I think an event from his workplace, I'm like, wow, this is what Sami is born to do. I mean, he'll do it with all, I mean, he'll be so relaxed, at ease. He doesn't struggle. You could see that is what he's born to do. So yeah, I'm just encouraging him to do it. I mean,
thank you.
Above the sky is his limit.
Amen. Yeah, thank you so much.
It could take him so far. And I'm doing adverts for the wife. The wife is a makeup artist.
True.
And a fashion designer.
And a fashion designer as well. She's done makeup for me. Yes.
Where is she actually? Where is Priscilla?
Priscilla is fine. In fact, we just welcome a new baby girl. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Sylvia was my mate from primary school to DHS. So
she told me when I sent the flyer.
It's been many years, yes, and we remain friends.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I also used to work with her. I think
wow.
At another place now.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Wow, nice. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, do we have any other questions, comments? Anything for Sam? He's told us so much. He's opened our eyes. A lot that goes into emceeing. Yeah. Does anyone have anything to ask? Okay, Manuel, please go on.
Good evening. Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Oklu Jabasamo is let me say, he's one of my mentors. He really inspired me a whole lot. And I really got into contact with him not long ago. Actually, I've been following him because I'm an upcoming MC. He's been giving me advice and giving me a whole lot of pieces of encouragement and inspiration as to how I need to go about things. And I even planned on being meeting. That is behind closed doors. That is behind closed door conversations. Anyway, I've been feeling with very keen interest on how this conversation and this webinar is going. I'd like to really applaud you all, the host and the moderator for this successful. Yet it's not really ended though, but I think I've really learned one or two and so many things from it. My question to Mr. Sam, one of my most revered mentors in this industry, as I'm really going up to one become the biggest in Ghana, in West Africa, and the globe. I want to ask Mr. Okli, one of my mentors, how do you really put all things together to make sure maybe as a successful upcoming to be a very as an upcoming to be a very successful MC, you meet the right people, you get a very good advice, you even go to MC that I even gave you a feedback while you were speaking on a message that I got to the time I was even emceeing, and because they were my friends, they would tell me, hey, you really MC Mr. Labi, Ali. Your dress, your point, the way you talk, like your get up for tonight, your get up for today's event is very good, and everything is like giving me a whole lot of verbal accolades and other things. Yes, for them to pay me mental, it will take the water in the whole of the ocean for them to be able to come to their senses that, oh, I hired the services of an MC, for them to know that they need to pay me. Even up for now, I hosted a program. I emptied an event, the Ghana Youth Awards show. I don't know whether you've come across it or something. I don't know whether you've heard about it. The Ghana Youth Awards show is an award show that seeks to award youth in the various endeavors of their life in Ghana and make them known to the public. So I emceed, that was a press unveiling at the Men's Hotel at East Legon, and the main event at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. When I finished, the guy was like, I knew him, he was a friend from Shihu. We all grew up from Shihu, and we all came to Accra. Fortunately, he also attended the same university, UCC. So, but he was behind me a year. So I completed before he completed. Yet, he is the founder of this event. So you see, as my mentor was saying that you can go for an event, for them to pay you, they'll be like, oh, you're my friend, and they will think that it's of no essence that even for them to pay you an extra much money for them to compliment your effort. Yet they'll tell you, oh, you're my friend, and you just take this 120 to get for transport. If it is now that he's going to add up to it, then I don't know. Yet he's traveled to the US. They told us that he's going to permanent residency there through lottery, and he's gone. We all wish him good. We all wish him well. So how can we all gather this as we identify the right mentors? And even as Mr. Oklo has been able to open his doors so widely for me to come in, give him his number, and be chatting and giving me a whole lot of ideas, gigs, and other things. I want to do that. I always like to also preach good news about one of my friends, who is a godfather to me, and Just Bannerman. Mr. Oklo really knows him very well. So he knows you. Just Bannerman also knows you because I've been discussing you and he says you are good and other things. He opened the door for me. When I had to come to the limelight, he gave me the exposure. It's just Banama. He gave me the exposure, linked with so many people on Emceeing as birthday host for Nigerian moguls and other things at so many places. Yes, I from Mr. Oklo, I've been discussing a whole lot of stuff about me to him. I'm a contract staff at Kukuboard, and this contract things at Kukuboard things, they can try to break, come to the house, they won't pay you another thing. So if not for this MC things, I wouldn't have got this kind of gigs and other things. So I'm planning to, though it will be a side hustle, but I'm planning to make it more big and attend and host more events. That after all this said and done, when the conclusions, Bannerman, there below and Co are not there, I can step into their shoes and do what they are doing. So my question is, how can you identify all these mentors too? How can you really be able to make them know that, okay, this MC thing, this service you're providing is not for free, yet they have to pay you accordingly as to what you provide. And three, how are you going to put all these things together to make sure you garner your efforts to making you a successful MC? So this is my question to you.
Well, that's a really long question, but I hope.
Yeah. I think he was a bit low. His voice was a bit low. But if I get the crust,
I'm using an AirPod.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So if I get a crust, yeah, please go ahead, Abby.
Yeah, I'm saying that I think I got the idea of what he was trying to say. And I think it's basically about the same thing we mentioned earlier, how people perceive Emceeing.
Okay.
They being willing to pay up when they have to. And then he was also asking how he said he's planning on doing it full time. So he wants to know how you can get people to appreciate the work of an MC such that the kind of recognition that he needs will be accorded him. I think that's what I got from what he said. Okay. Manuel, I hope that's what you meant.
Exactly.
Okay. Manuel, as I said earlier, I think my advice would be that before you jump into the river, you need to test the depth with one leg. In that same vein, I think that you need to start as a side hustle. In that case, you don't lose your main stuff first. When you go in and you see enough value from it, and you think that that value can sustain you, is self-sustaining, then you can now move out. Now, because you are not trying to carve, one of the things that has helped me is my job. Because number one, my normal job gives me the opportunity to be on platforms every time. On Wednesday, I'm going to be on another big platform. I'm going to speak to about 100 and something people. It's because that is my job. Okay, so naturally, I have that platform and I have practiced with that platform for a long time. So the confidence came naturally from those things. What you need is to volunteer yourself, as I have said before. I'm sure you have a lot of friends who have events, a lot of family people who have weddings, who have naming ceremonies, who have small birthdays or stuff. Step up every time and offer yourself to lead. That is when you start calling yourself Manuel the MC. People will know that, oh yes, during my birthday, he was the one. And Manuel, take photographic images, record these things, take photos. You have to put something on your social media handle for people to know that, oh yes, he does this. The only thing that can tell that story is the videos you will post, is the photographs you will post. Those are the things. Then, just as you are doing, pay your dues where they are supposed to be paid. You follow me, I see you, you like my things, you comment. If you start posting this video and I see what you are doing, okay, if something comes up tomorrow and somebody needs an MC, you should be somebody that I should call on and say, this thing has come up, are you able to do it? What I need is an assurance that you deliver. So I also need to see some of the things you have done. So once again, offering your services comes in. Because when people don't see what you can do and start charging them, they won't come. They'll say, then I better go and give it to somebody I have seen already. So it's a lot of, it's just like the journey of the entrepreneur. It's a lonely job from the beginning. You have to invest, but that investment is helping you to build content. You need to give shout outs to people who are ahead of you. It happens. There are sometimes you see me, I post somebody's picture on my story. I have an average of about 1,000 something views on my Instagram page, on my stories. So if I put Manuel on my story, you are sure that some 1,000 and some people are going to view. But normally, the other established people won't do that for you if you don't also give them that respect. And, you know, everybody has some ego. If there's somebody, there are some people when I go to their pages on Instagram, they post my pictures. They put me sometimes I also just want to show back to them. I post, oh, what an awesome person. This is one of the MCs, blah, 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 blah. If the MC endorses you as a good MC, it is already, typically people who follow me are people who are interested in that kind of content.
Yeah.
So when they see that I am telling them that, hey, you are also good, it is a big endorsement. You understand? When I started, I had people like Kafi Danku. Okay. It's a big shot there. She put me out there. I had people like Gwenjima. Putting Gwen's sister, Nadia. Okay. There are other people like Goba Kente, Dedo, Kofi, and all people. These are huge endorsements. Okay. But it doesn't come easy. It means that once in a while, sometimes I have to approach some of them and say, look, I'm doing this. You have to be humble. I need help. Can you hype me? Some of them will ask you, what are you doing that I have to give you back? So you should be prepared. Sometimes, you see, you have to be doing it for the person to see. So that when you even come, the person knows that, oh, the person deserves to get this. So, Manuel, it's difficult, but it's really not that difficult. If you follow Bannerman and you know that Bannerman, unless the person, there are some people too naturally, they are like that. It's normal. People like that. But people will see you for the true fan you are when you like them. There are some people I have on Instagram. I can tell you, I don't think there's anything I've ever posted that they haven't liked. So there are some times I just go on Instagram and then I send a message to some people. Then I tell them that send me your mobile number. I just feel like blessing them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I don't want to put it. I do this. Abigail knows. Today, for instance, I have sent money to 2 different people. One for a stroke, something. The second one to stroke and prostrate. But Instagram, if I take this thing, there, I'll die because the pressure there alone. It's true. Already there's serious pressure. So the moment you have already posted yourself that I do this, there are a lot of people there who take advantage of kindness.
Yeah.
And they don't need it, but they just see it as an opportunity to make money. So they pressurize you. You understand? It's not easy. I have a pool of kind friends who sometimes when I go out and I ask for help, they do. Okay, and I also make sure that it goes back to the humanitarian pool. But that is it. So, you know, when I see somebody like this and he's in need, it doesn't have to be just money. It may be just pushing the person's career. So watch my Instagram page. There are times that I'm always posting some products, some service, and a lot of people see them. Some of the people get followers from these things. Yeah. So those are some of the ways you can start. You know, in your church, I'm sure currently my church has what we call speed conference. They are looking for anchors. We are the ones who can, we are on all the social media. If not for this program, I would have been there today. We are the one who introduced the conference, talk about what it is going to be about, the visiting, what people should expect. The church members too now know that, hey, you are doing this sort of thing. Recently, I was there when my pastor called me that there's this big funeral in the church. They need an answer. I was the one who went to do it. You have to let people within your circles know. You belong to a lot of WhatsApp groups. How much do you tell them?
It seems I even saw you when you were emceeing that funeral in front of the ITGC pulpit. Yeah,
yes, yes, that's true. You see, those your church, well, maybe some church groups, but you have a lot of WhatsApp social groups. Okay, yeah. How much do you tell them the things you do? And if you, for instance, you share, if I know that I see Manuel puts me on his status, I'll reciprocate, you know, sometimes to say, you get what I mean? So it's not just a fellow MC. There are other friends who do other things. Maybe they are decorators. Somebody is something else. Somebody is, you know, there are so many things. If you want to receive, you must learn how to do. It's a basic principle of life.
Yeah. Well, I hope that has been helpful.
Wow, it's been so helpful and so insightful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you too so much for your question. Okay, our time is almost up. So I think we'll just allow for Sam to give us his final words before we draw the curtain. So Sam, what would you like to hear? Not just about
Emcee, I think it's been a nice time interacting with
I have enjoyed it myself.
Yeah, it's been a nice time, and I mean, maybe another time we speak about other things.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe about entrepreneurship and something some other time. Because I work in entrepreneurship.
Even from this, I've learned a lot. You know me too.
Yeah.
In this show, I'm also trying to get into the entrepreneurship space.
Yeah.
What you said about it being a lonely road at the beginning, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, you have people who help you, but at the end of the day, you find that you're doing almost everything on your own. And
so as we are here, you know, we are in a social media age. So let me drop my social media handles.
Sure.
Just let me know. This is my IG page. Sam _ the Emcee.
Okay.
Yes, and then it's Sam the Emcee on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure they've taken note of that.
Yeah. And I mean, social media world is all about hype. So yeah, you hype each other, and I mean, everybody moves.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for
happy sharing with all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll end it here. This has been the ABBY IMANI REVEALS Show. I'm really sorry about the poor lighting on my part. I'm at a different venue this time. God willing, we'll come together again next week. In the meantime, as we always say, be real and live. Today we've really spoken, we've been very real about emceeing, and we've learned a lot, so we thank God for that. Sam, can you please pray to close us?
All right, I should pray. All right, Father Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to learn and share. We pray that you continue to bless this program, that many more will join and be imparted. And as we depart, we pray that you go with us and guide us through. In Jesus' mighty name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you all so much for coming.
All right. Thank you all for coming, guys.